Every gardener dreams of soil that looks and feels like black gold, rich crumbly earth filled with life and nutrients, the kind of soil where any seed germinates quickly and every plant thrives. Yet for many, the reality is clay that cracks in the sun, sandy soil that drains too fast, or barren patches where nothing seems to grow no matter how much compost is added. This struggle is not new. Generations before us faced the same challenges, and one group that has quietly mastered soil building is the Amish. Known for their self-sufficiency and traditional farming wisdom, the Amish hold techniques that turn the most lifeless soil into fertile ground. What is fascinating is that one of their most powerful soil secrets is not compost at all. To hook you in right away, imagine this. Fields that haven't seen chemical fertilizers for decades producing consistent harvests of corn, wheat, and vegetables that rival anything in industrial farming. How? By relying on natural inputs that supercharge the soil's microbial engine. And here's the surprising part. This Amish secret doesn't require turning compost piles or hauling endless manure. It's something simpler, overlooked by most modern gardeners, yet potent enough to restore fertility where soil was thought to be dead. Compost is widely praised, and for good reason. It introduces organic matter, balances nutrients, and feeds soil microbes. But in truly barren soils, whether stripped of life by overfarming, eroded by heavy rains, or hardened through neglect, compost alone often falls short. The biology is missing. Adding compost is like putting food into an empty room. Without people to eat it, nothing happens. Soil fertility depends not just on nutrients but on the living organisms that cycle them, microbes, fungi, and worms. Without them, organic matter sits idle. The Amish understand this distinction. Their soil-building practices focus not only on adding organic material, but also on jump-starting microbial activity. They create conditions where bacteria and fungi can colonize quickly, transforming dead matter into humus and unlocking nutrients tied up in mineral particles. This is where their secret practice makes all the difference. The Amish secret liquid soil stimulants. Instead of relying only on compost heaps, many Amish farmers prepare liquid brews that feed microbes directly. These mixtures often include molasses, raw milk, wood ash, yeast, or even fish emulsions, ingredients most of us would never think of putting into the soil in liquid form. The principle is simple. While compost supplies bulk organic matter, these liquid amendments act as microbial accelerators, waking up dormant soil and multiplying the very organisms that make soil fertile. Take raw milk as an example. It contains lactose sugars, proteins, and natural bacteria that act as a probiotic for soil. When diluted and applied to barren soil, it becomes food for both bacteria and fungi, which in turn stimulate worm activity. Molasses serves a similar role. It's pure sugar energy for microbes, allowing populations to explode in a matter of days. Wood ash, in moderation, contributes potassium, calcium, and trace minerals while also balancing pH. When combined, these ingredients spark life in soil that would otherwise remain stagnant even with compost added. How it works beneath the surface. When these liquid amendments are applied to soil, several things happen at once. The sugars from molasses fuel fast-growing bacteria, which begin breaking down any organic material they encounter. Raw milk introduces lactic acid bacteria, a group of microbes particularly effective at suppressing harmful pathogens while promoting beneficial ones. Yeast helps release locked-up minerals and feeds fungi, which are critical in binding soil particles into stable aggregates. Ash provides minerals that buffer acidity and make the soil environment more favorable for biology. The result is a cascade of microbial activity. Dormant spores in the soil sense the sudden availability of food and moisture, and they awaken. Worms move in because bacteria-rich zones are their preferred food source. Fungi stretch their mycelium across root zones, forming networks that help plants draw in water and nutrients more effectively. Within weeks, the soil begins to change in texture, smell, and appearance. What was once lifeless and compacted becomes darker, looser, and more aromatic, the unmistakable sign of humus formation. We monitored how this Amish-inspired method changed barren soil over several months. At the beginning, the soil was pale, clumpy, and resistant to water penetration. A handful held together like hard clay with no visible life. After the first liquid feeding, there was little to see above ground, but beneath the surface, fine threads of fungal mycelium began spreading within 2 weeks. By 1 month, worm activity increased noticeably, with small castings appearing on the surface. At 3 months, the soil texture had already shifted. Clods broke apart easily, water infiltrated more quickly, and a darker hue appeared. Root growth of test plants expanded deeper than before, aided by loosened structure. By 6 months, the transformation was dramatic. The once barren patch now had the qualities of black gold deep color, sweet earthy aroma, and a crumbly structure filled with pores and worm tunnels. What had seemed impossible with compost alone was achieved through this microbial ignition system. The brilliance of this method lies in its synergy. Compost supplies the long-term organic matter that eventually becomes stable humus, but the liquid stimulants provide the short-term spark to activate soil biology. Without biology, organic matter just sits idle. And without organic matter, biology basically starves. Together they create a self-sustaining cycle where soil microbes feed, reproduce, and continually improve the soil environment. This is why Amish fields remain productive without chemical fertilizers. Instead of relying on synthetic nitrogen or phosphorus, they harness microbial systems that keep nutrients cycling year after year. In essence, they're not feeding the plants directly, they're feeding the soil life, which in turn, feeds the plants. For serious gardeners wanting to adopt this method, the process is actually pretty straightforward. Start by preparing a liquid stimulant. One simple recipe is to mix 1 to 2 tablespoons of unsulfured blackstrap molasses and 1 cup of raw milk into a gallon of water. Optionally, a teaspoon of baker's yeast can be added to accelerate fermentation. This mixture can be watered directly into the soil around plants or used to soak compost before applying it to beds. Just apply once every 2 to 3 weeks during the growing season. If your soil is extremely barren, it helps to apply this mixture in combination with a thin mulch layer of straw shredded leaves or grass clippings. The mulch provides the organic matter while the liquid provides the microbial ignition. Over time, the mulch will decompose faster under the influence of the microbes and the soil beneath will steadily improve. What makes this practice fascinating is that modern soil science now supports what the Amish discovered through tradition. Studies on lactic acid bacteria, molasses-fed compost teas, and microbial inoculants all confirm the same principle. Microbes need both food and habitat. By giving them sugars, proteins, and minerals in liquid form, we accelerate their population growth. By covering the soil with organic matter, we give them a home. Together, the system regenerates itself. This approach also avoids some of the pitfalls of chemical fertilizers. Instead of forcing plants to take up synthetic nutrients in isolation, it builds a living soil that releases nutrients in harmony with plant needs. The soil becomes more resilient to drought, more resistant to disease, and more capable of storing carbon. Turning barren soil into black gold is not about hauling endless compost or buying expensive fertilizers, it is about feeding life in the soil itself. The Amish secret, using liquid microbial stimulants like molasses, milk, yeast, and ash, works because it awakens biology that compost alone cannot. Over time, this practice creates soil that is alive, balanced, and fertile, capable of sustaining crops season after season without decline. For gardeners serious about restoring their soil, this method offers a pathway rooted in tradition yet validated by modern science. It is simple, inexpensive, and profoundly effective. What once seemed like barren ground can be revived into a living, breathing ecosystem that rewards you with healthier plants and higher yields. If you found this guide valuable and want to continue learning about time-tested, science-backed methods to build fertile soil, make sure to subscribe to Soil and Plant Doctor and share this with fellow gardeners who care about true soil health. Together we can keep these traditions alive and our soils thriving for generations to come.